It's October 2022. I'm 3 months into motherhood and I'm defeated. The only reason I'm sitting down is because I'm pumping. Hooked up to a hospital-grade double pump whilst my babies sleep in a cot across the room. Then over the mechanical whir of that pump, I start to hear one of my babies cry. That desperate, end-of-the-world, shrill newborn cry. And I close my eyes and summon the energy to get up off that chair. But my body feels so heavy. I'm exhausted. Then the second one starts to cry. And I know it's not going to be long before the third one starts. And I can't see how I'm going to be able to do this. I can't see how I'm going to be able to do any of this. There's just not enough mummy to go around. It's been 2 months since my babies came home. That's 2 months of 24 feeds every 24 hours. My husband's back at work now, and I've always been a strong, capable, independent woman. But this is different. Now, I'm struggling. In that moment, sat in that armchair, mum guilt came for me. I was easy prey. It's not their fault you can't do this. They deserve better. You'll never be good enough. Then something dangerous started happening. I started listening to this voice, this mum guilt. I was having an internal dialogue with it, and I started to believe it. I could feel it pulling me under. And I couldn't let that happen because my babies needed me strong. I didn't have an understudy. A couple of weeks later, my therapist challenged me on who that mean language belonged to. And with a sickening realization, I said, my dad. You see, he had narcissistic personality disorder, which means I know what a bullied mum looks like. Close up, 360. I saw what that did to all of us. I saw how many years of undoing it took. Over a period of time, I saw my beautiful mum, who told the best stories, lose confidence in the things I knew she was good at, doubt her decision-making, and cut herself off from friends, hobbies, and ultimately a career that she loved. And now I was a mum. I saw the same thing happening. Not because my mum friends were all in toxic relationships, but because we've internalized the bully. Now, I left home when I was barely 18, and I vowed never to be in or around that kind of toxicity again. I made a promise to myself that my kids wouldn't. So 20 years later, to find myself right back at square one was like the rug had been pulled from under me. I was clutching at anything that might keep me upright, but there was nothing because I had spent years running away from all of that, only to discover that I'd got into a toxic relationship with myself. I'd become the bully, and I'd let 18-year-old me down. Now, this really freaked me out. I needed to know, was it just me? Was it because of my past? Was it because I had triplets? Was I losing it? So I asked around Beckenham. And guess what I found? Every single mum I spoke to was experiencing the same mean language. You're not good enough. This wasn't just my story anymore. This was something much bigger. But how could something that big be invisible? Because bullies shame victims into silence. I've seen the playbook. So I put out an open invitation to mums to come together for a mum guilt amnesty. It's needed. And I was moved by complete strangers opening up and sharing how they felt about baby loss from years ago, not being able to breastfeed, or the guilt they felt around returning to work. They shared openly how it tormented them, especially late at night. They shared how it stopped them exercising, doing things they used to love, things they knew would be really good for them. That's how much control it has. Now, we talk about the impact that having kids can have on your marriage. We even joke about the impact having kids can have on your sex life. But we never talk about the impact having kids can have on your relationship with yourself. So listen to the words of Dr. Martha Beck, a Harvard sociologist. Your children will not treat themselves the way you treat them. Your children will treat themselves the way you treat yourself. So you may think you get a free pass on looking after yourself as long as you're looking after your kids, but it doesn't work like that. And trust me, our little ones, they don't miss a trick. So where did all this mum guilt come from? I believe it all starts with mum judgement. Now, before I was a mum, I couldn't see it. But trust me, it's everywhere. Right here in Kelsey Park, as my triplet toddlers ran to the playground, racing their granddad, giggling all the way, another mum turned to me and said, "I get postnatal depression just looking at you." Really? Is it that bad? Now, before I was a mum, no doubt strangers had opinions on me, but it wasn't okay to come up to my face and share them. With a pram, you are a sanctioned target. And I've got a really big pram. I'm a big target. But it's not just me. Things are actually so bad now that over a quarter of mums are avoiding going out at all just to avoid that judgment. That's thousands of mums in our community isolated because they would rather be alone than judged. And it's not just the playground. Online, it can actually be even worse. I did an article with the Daily Mail about the fact I feel zero mum guilt for going to the gym, something I stand by. I've been this morning. And you can imagine the backlash I got. Judgment, ridicule, outrage. All because I dared to say, I'm taking time to take care of my body. So what starts as external judgment becomes internalized. Because there's a tipping point in any relationship with a bully where they don't actually even need to say anything anymore because we already believe them. They have broken us down. That's how coercive this is. That's what's going on with mum guilt. Society sets the bar way up high. We make ourselves ill chasing perfection, and when we inevitably fall short, oh, you bet, it's there waiting at the sidelines to kick us when we're down. And so when we're alone, at the end of a long, hard day, We start to believe it. And then, to make matters worse, we get our phones out. Tap, tap, that's what your home should look like. Tap, tap, that's what your body should look like. Tap, tap, that's what a good mum looks like. Things are actually so bad now that we've got an invisible epidemic on our hands. 95% of mums experience mum guilt. It's exhausting. It's demoralizing. We have had enough. But a world where a mum can look after herself and her kids without criticism, without judgment, without guilt is a long way off. So while we wait for that, we start small, we start local, and we start early. Because the longer this bully has its feet under the table, the harder it is to ever get free of them. So what if during pregnancy, our midwives could talk to us about how to spot the early signs of mum guilt? What if the health visitors that come into our home could have a chat to us about how mum guilt shows up when you're sleep deprived? And what if our employers could acknowledge the huge shifts a mum goes through when she has a baby, and that actually that return to work is a real mum guilt trigger that needs to be handled sensitively? And while we wait for that, we start smaller still, with ourselves. Experiencing mum guilt is inevitable in today's society. But staying in it is a choice. Every mum here can choose to start to adopt a kinder mindset, can choose to break up with this sneaky inner critic with its fake news, can choose to start to open up and have the conversations that strip this bully of its power. This started with one defeated, exhausted, broken triplet mum, beaten up by mum guilt. And now it's a movement of mums standing together against this bully. Mum guilt is the bully that's snuck in through the back door of every family home, but together we're breaking up with it for good.